Krishna prestaya bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinam Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschatadeshatarini Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasani Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Prabhus and Mothers. I'd like to welcome all of you. Vancha kalpatarveshya kipa sindhavaya vachapatitanam pavunebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo Kamaniya Prabhu, Ajit Prabhu, Prahladananda Prabhu, Duti Gopi Mataji, Charles, Ajit Prabhu, nice to see you. So, we are going to serve Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9 and text 13. So far we have covered up to that. And let us do Mangalacharan for that if we can. You all can join and offer your heart to the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna through Guru Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnanati Mirandasa Gyenanjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamhayam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Nitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तबिंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, Prabhu's and Mother, we are going to recite chapter 9, text 14, no, 15. Yeah. So let us sketch where we are so far, just to have a refresh as we do every week. So this is the chapter Srila Prabhupada entitled as the most confidential knowledge. So I would like someone to help me with the reading. So we'll catch the first sloka that it says that if you are non-envious, then since Arjuna is non-envious, Krishna says he will reveal the most confidential knowledge. So what is the eligibility to hear and analyze and comprehend so we can capture by intelligence and keep within our heart? Well, if we are non-envious. And one way to check the non-enviousness, we discussed a couple weeks about the 10 things that something you can detect within you. And in a short, that you don't have any interest, inclination to make offense to any devotees. And you don't consider demigods to be independent or separate from Krishna, independent or one with Krishna. And then you have proper showing respect to the Guru Vargas, the advanced devotees, and you appropriately honor the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and others. And you also give up unnecessary argument. It's interesting, Bhakti Thakur, because this reminded me there was a personality, actually, he likes to argue on certain issues. Um, and also, when we don't involve in the breaking the four regulative principles, and we don't consider dharma brata like austerity, vow are equal to chanting Hare Krishna, and you do have strong faith in holy name, and you don't identify yourself with a material body and mind. So when you have those things are absent, you are non-envious. You can certify yourself. That would be good. Certify yourself as non-envious person. Then Krishna says, if you are non-envious, then all this secret knowledge will be revealed to you. Now, question is, why you need secret knowledge, confidential knowledge? So the second verse, Krishna says, it is the king of knowledge, Rajavidya Rajaguyam, and is the most confidential. Why? Pavitram, it purifies. You purify your consciousness. The Muttamam, and it will, Urdhatatama, it will transform your heart from material level to spiritual level. It's very nice, very good. Who doesn't want that? And then you will joyfully, Sushukam Paramabhayam, and you will joyfully practice this Krishna consciousness, which is imperishable. Then Krishna scares with the third verse. It's interesting. Every last couple of weeks we discussed this just to refresh, and we have a different view to look at it. The third verse, Krishna says, or he's trying to scare us, that if you don't believe his word, then you will be loitering in this material world. That's kind of scary in a sense. And then Krishna goes on saying that what is that knowledge that all this, you'll be happy and you will purify, you will transform, and you will sustain. Then how he's going to, what is this knowledge that Krishna will be imparting to Arjuna or any one of us? Krishna says the knowledge about the relationship about this world and with everything and everyone. A unique relationship he has. And this is the confidential knowledge that he's going to reveal. Of course, end of this chapter, we know that famous verse is there. Manmana bhavumat jajimam namaskuru. So what is that mysterious relationship, if someone inquire? Well, it's a mysterious in a sense that common people will never get it unless someone is devotee. Because he is in everything and everywhere. At the same time, he is not everywhere or in everything simultaneously. This is very overwhelming. This, because behold my mystic potency means through his inconceivable potency, he does that. Then he also gave an example that how everybody has some aspect of controlling, and Krishna ultimately controls everything. And he gives an example like within a ball. The ball covers the whole air in that space, but inside the ball also they have a movement. In other words, Krishna is our ultimate controller, but we are also controller, but mini-scale controller, or you can say chooser. Then question Arjuna raised, since you are sending the conditioned soul to this world of misery, aren't you implicated by karma? Soul is, but what about you? And Krishna says, no, I'm neutral. I am in the material nature, I am controlling, but I am neutral. As a neutral, I have no effect, no karma. So that's very nice. Hopefully you can learn. Then Krishna revealed himself. He said, I'm the overseer of the material nature. Then Arjuna asked that if this is so, then why everybody don't see that or understand your position? Then Krishna explained, because their hopes, their actions, their knowledge are all futile because their consciousness is misdirected. Very interesting way he explained, Krishna explained. And they end up abiding in fiendish and demoniac nature. Then question comes, what are the characteristics of those who understand your divine position? So this is where we left. And then Krishna gives also Arjuna further asks what external characteristics of a great soul your devotee has. And this is what we are going to start today. So who would like to read? Chapter 9, text 13. What are the characteristics of devotees? Any volunteer?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay. Let me get my glasses, please. Okay. So the most confidential knowledge, chapter 13, text, chapter 9, text 13. Mahatmanas tu mam partha daivam prakritam ashrita bhajanti anya manaso nyatva bhutadam avyayam. Word to word, Maha Atmana, the great, souls, to but, mam, unto me, Partha, O son of Partha, Daivam, divine, Prakritam, nature, Ashrita, having taken shelter of, Bhujanti, render service, Ananya, Manasha, without deviation of the mind, Nyatya, knowing, Bhuta, of creation, Adim, the origin, Avyayam, inexhaustible. Translation: O son of Partha, those who are not deluded, the great soul, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Purport: In this verse, the description of the Mahatma is clearly given. The first sign of the Mahatma is that he is already situated in the divine nature. He is not under the control of material nature. And how is this affected? That is explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, at once becomes freed from the control of material nature. That is the qualification. One can become free from the control of material nature as soon as he surrenders his soul to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is a preliminary formula, being marginal potency as soon as the living entity is freed from the control of material nature, he is put under the guidance of the spiritual nature. The guidance of the spiritual nature is called Devi Prakriti, divine nature. So when one is promoted in that way by surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one attains to the stage of great soul, Mahatma. The Mahatma does not divert his attention to anything outside Krishna, because he knows perfectly well that Krishna is the original Supreme Person, the cause of all causes. There is no doubt about it. Such a Mahatma or great soul develops through association with other Mahatmas, pure devotees. Pure devotees are not even attracted by Krishna's other features, such as the four-armed Mahavishnu. They are simply attracted by the two-armed form of Krishna. They are not attracted to other features of Krishna, nor are they concerned with any form of a demigod or of a human being. They meditate only upon Krishna in Krishna consciousness. They are always engaged in the unswerving service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness. Haribol.
Thank you. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great soul, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So you can actually read the translation into two parts. Am I great soul? Well, am I deluded? And if I say I'm not deluded, how do you prove it? We can say, well, we are under the protection of divine nature. But what is the symptom? That you are always engaged, you are serving. And serving with what consciousness behind? That Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. Very nice. And he is the original Swayam and inexhaustible. Means there is never decay, like we have our body and our existence in the material world. Krishna doesn't have such thing. So three things, very interesting. If we contemplate on these three things, then we can become advanced soul. Krishna is giving two extreme, isn't it? Krishna is given, if you the last week we read 11 and 12, are most dangerous misunderstanding. I mean, Mayavadis or impersonalists. Now he is giving most evolved or highest understanding, the most fallen and most vibrant. So same thing Krishna has done in 7th chapter. Also, when he talked about 7:14, he told Mom, what is that? Mamamaya Durottaya. And 7:15, he said about four kinds of people who do not surrender. Just the opposite. And 7:16, he says four kinds of people who surrender to him. Who do not surrender, four types of people don't surrender, 7:15. And 16 is who are the four types of surrender to him. It's very interesting way Krishna reveals the secret. So he gave complete spectrum over here. He's giving spectrum over here. Krishna will even go deeper, because I was reading some of the sloka that we are coming soon. And it's beautiful. Each of the categories is different way where the focus will be more Krishna. The people's understanding about him. For an example, like 7th chapter, focus was on people's own conception. And their desire, it was not their conception about Krishna. And 7:15, those misconceptions were not about Krishna. They were just misconception that they have. Example, like a foolish person thinks that work hard is the standard way for success in life. Not attacking anyone, but there are some people think you work hard, you'll make it. You make life success just by working hard. And there are Naradhama, Just think that as long you have your body is fine, your health is, you are healthy and you paid off all the bills and you have enough food, then you are success in life. There are many people. Then Maya Purito Jnana, Krishna says, they have knowledge, but they forgot about ultimate purpose of knowledge, which is spiritual, devotion, surrender to Krishna. That part they don't talk, but they may have a PhD, MD in all kinds of FRCS. So Asuram Bhavam Ashrita, there is another category. Asuram Bhavam Ashrita, overall, demonic mentality, which is anti-religious. When we use the word demon, means they don't tolerate to see or hear about any religion or religious practitioner. Hopefully, not too many, but you'll see them, they do exist. But now they may not be anti-Krishna. They may be saffron dress, like some of the impersonalists, and they are not against Krishna, but they don't believe eternal form. What would you call them? Impersonalists. But they don't believe eternal relationship. So they are Asuram Bhava. They don't accept the eternity, the three main principles of eternal spiritual world. That Krishna is eternal, soul, we are eternal, our relationship is eternal. And with that three principles, the holy dham, lila, rasa, these are all eternal, because on that three principles. So the focus in both ways, or people about their understanding, which is covered, 7:16 to 19. But here, Krishna talked about spectrum. The focus is coming more in him. So that's that's why it is more confidential, or you can say most confidential, Prabhupada use. So the glory of bhakti to him can be eventually revealed. So here, see, his focus, Krishna's focus is what is people's conception of him? What people think of Krishna? Krishna is revealing here. So when we talk about Mayavadis, they have misconception about him. What they think, oh, Krishna is just another person. Just like Prabhupada says a couple times in a few lecture I heard, that he says, they always think it is the God within Krishna's body talking. Means Krishna and Krishna's body are two different. Just like a human being. So they consider him just like another being, living being, human being. That's why Krishna says, Manushim Tanum Ashrita. So now Krishna is talking about those who take shelter of him. What is their understanding? So that's why he began with this verse. Mahatmanastu Mam Partha. So the great soul, the Mahatma, and Doivim Prakriti Masrita, they take shelter of Doivi Prakriti. Bhajanti. They worship me. They render service to me. It's like all of you, devotees do that. How they worship? Ananda Manaso. Their mind does not go to other things. Okay, I worship Krishna today. Tomorrow I'll worship Shiva. Maybe, okay, next day I'll worship Ganesh. No, they do not. Interestingly, Prabhupada says when he went to Hyderabad in India preaching with some Western devotee, there were many Brahmanas came to see him. So in the hall room, he was speaking to them. And he made a few striking bullet point. What is a pure devotee? What is Ananya Bhakti? He says, now most of you, when you get up, you do so many rituals and they're nice. You do this puja, that chanting, this chanting. Now these Western boys and girls, Prabhupada said, they may not know all these rituals, how to get up from the bed, when you wake up from the bed, what mantra you chant. But one thing they have, and Prabhupada said, you may not have. I doubt you have. Not any one of. They have a one-pointed service to Krishna. They think of Krishna, they chant Krishna's name, they are preaching. So therefore, Krishna says, they are sadhu. Even if they have some fault, Apichetu Sudarachara. In this chapter, we'll come to that point. But it was very interesting the way Prabhupada set it up. Krishna says today, this verse, Ananda Manasa, they worship me with one pointed. They're not looking for other God. They're just going on one God, Krishna, ultimate. So therefore, they are Ananda Manasa, and they are that devotee. Now you may say, why? Yatta Bhutadim Abhayam. Because they understand that Krishna is Bhuta Adi, is the beginning of all existence. And Abhayam is imperishable. So this conception of Bhutadim, Abhayam, is exactly opposite of Manushim Tonum Ashrita. 9.11, we read a couple of weeks back that Param Bhava Majananta, I hope you all remember, that what they think, they actually think absolute truth is impersonal. I remember Mr. Khandesi, he used to come take prasadam. He passed away. He used to come to San Diego temple for decades. And one day we sat down and just talk and talk. He loves devotees, he loves prasadam. And then we went on philosophy discussion and he came to conclusion. He said, ultimately, there is no form or activity in spiritual world. What? If we did not have a talk, I would never imagine that he is actually impersonalist. Because he appreciated devotee, he take prasadam, he comes, do kirtan and everything. But he really strongly believes. It's almost like now, like about 20 years, but still it scares me. Like, my God, you never know. Somebody may like the devotee and prasadam and everything, but deep down in their belief, they think Krishna is just impersonal. His form is only when he comes to this world. And that's why Krishna was very heavy. He considered them just asurim. They don't accept his eternal form. Now you may say, like, well, they believe in God. Yes, they believe in God, but they don't believe in the truth. True God. The true God is, he is origin as a personal. Impersonal idea comes only from his body effulgence. So if somebody don't accept or believe, even though he or she may be chanting or favorable, in eating prasadam, yes, eventually will purify, but Krishna will never impose. Hopefully, there will be advanced devotee. We have many in our movement. By their influence, they will change that. And I hope Mr. Khandesi, before he left this world, I was not there, but hope he accepted Krishna's eternal form. It's like a so subtle, but so vast difference. Vast difference. So Krishna says, Gyatta Bhutadim Abhayam. Adi and Abhay means beginning of existence and imperishable. Indicate that Krishna is talking about himself in eternal term, not just in contextual terms. This verse is so beautiful. Ananda Manaso, Ananda Manaso. What does that mean? Mahatma fixed themselves only on Krishna, not on other demigod or Brahma form of Krishna. Actually, in that lecture, Prabhupada even says, You all get up. What did you do? You do Ganesh Puja first. And one Brahmana, he said, yeah, he was shaking, somebody was recording. He said, yes. He said, they don't do this. They just go straight to Guru and Krishna, as Krishna revealed. Krishna did not say you have to go through demigod and all other. He did not say that. He did say Tadviddi Pradipatena Pariprasnana Sevaya. Upadekshantite Ganam Genina Tattadarshina. He did say go to Guru. But he did not say you go to demigod fast to do your morning. He did not. Yes, it is in the Veda. We are not denying it. But we are going to the essence of the Veda. We don't want to just hover all over the Vedas. We respect Vedas. So earlier, that's why 719, when Krishna used this word to describe those who surrendered to him after many lifetimes, Bahunam Janmanam Ante. So it takes many lives to come to this. Prabhus and mothers, those who, you all are, those who are accepting Krishna's ultimate existence of absolute is a form, means you went many lives. Hearing, practicing, you may remember, you may not remember, but you went many lives to come to a point to accept Krishna. Krishna did say here, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gyanavan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma. So Mahatma, same word is there. That is a Mahatma. When somebody accepts Krishna's form as an eternal form. And Krishna will again come back. Then he is inviting us. After that, he is inviting us. Come back to spiritual world and you will never return back to this material world. It's so nice. So nice. Of course, when you use the word Mahatma today in his social culture word, some freedom fighter were given this title also. Srila Prabhupada objected, as those words has some meaning. Using them in those way is inappropriate. Now we should not do campaign against this. If say we are going to attend a National Day celebration, that is not the forum to say that. So we can clarify in the appropriate forum. We should know what is the central message which we want to give to people. Do we want to give people this message that we have protested against calling someone as Mahatma? No. Our message is we should chant Hare Krishna. We're not body, we are soul. Soul is happy when we serve to Krishna. And when people hear this message, and appreciate, then they can open, they can bring other points also. So although a soul which is very which is very you can say tiny, small, linked like with the greatest super soul Krishna. So the soul is called Mahatma. So this way, soul will become also powerful and influential. Now we are Onu Atma. I'm sure you all heard. Onu means small, tiny, 1/10,000 tip of hair. Means you cannot even see or measure it. That's what it meant. And become Mahatma by taking shelter of Vibhu Atma. So Dvaibhim Prakritim Ashrita refers to Dvaibhim Prakriti means divine nature. Ashrita means here means shelter. Ashrita. So Ashrita is used for people. It's the same Krishna used like when the demon takes shelter. Here devotee takes shelter. The word doesn't mean automatically devotee. It can be used also for the demoniac. Doibim Prakritim Ashrita. Doibim Prakritim is indirect reference to, you can say, Srimati Radharani. There are two nature, material nature and spiritual nature. So here the spiritual nature is referred by Doibim Prakritim. So Doibim Prakritim means that nature which is intimately connected with Krishna. And the word Doibi can be used in various contexts. Depending on context, it can have a different meaning. Like previously we discussed that Doibi is used for Maya also, isn't 714? Doibi Hesha Gunamayi. Doibi. Krishna used the same word. Doibi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durattaya. 714. So Krishna has said, so when Krishna used their Doibi, the intent is that even this energy is not independent to me. That is also my energy. That's what Krishna is saying. It is divine in the sense that it is acting under my will. So generally when temptation comes, it takes us away from Krishna. But to resist this potency, I need to take shelter of Krishna. I cannot take it by my own effort. So whereas here, when Doibi is used, if we look at the whole context, it is talking about Mahatmas. There is no concept of illusory energy here. Prabhupada quite elaborately analyzed this internal potency of Lord. So Srimati Radharani is a summary understanding is as follows. You can say, we are all parts of Krishna. Krishna has his pleasure-giving potency, which is called Ladini Shakti. Now, because we are part of Krishna, we also have our pleasure-giving potency, isn't it? We are enjoying sometime. But because we are minute, our pleasure-giving potency is also very tiny. That is why if we try to enjoy separate from Krishna, we can enjoy, but that enjoyment is tiny. It is so limited. It's like I am addicted to Rasgulla and I make, say, $5,000 a month and each Rasgulla costs $1,000. So I want to have 5 Rasgulla in one day, but then whole month salary is gone. So for little enjoyment that we get in this world, we have to work whole life hard for that. It's not worth it. So what the jiva is meant to do is connect with Krishna. So the enjoyment comes by connecting to Krishna. Krishna, Ladini Shakti, gives infinite happiness. This way, living entity also become elevated and purified. And ultimately, we all get liberated. So in these verse, Krishna talks about the characteristics of those who take shelter of him. This is my point. In this verse, Krishna described about inner world. This is a beautiful chapter, 9th chapter. Even one sloka is like so confidential. It's like a candy. So the conception of those who take shelter of Krishna, that is called bhajanti ananna manasa. They are fixed in worshipping Krishna and they are not deviated from that. Prabhupada says in one time, he said he never forgot Krishna. Like, wow, so powerful. Now, these inner characteristics are also reflected in their outer action, which is described in next verse. We'll read. So, in general, Srila Prabhupada translated devotional service. So, translate like, so devotion is internal and service is external. When you say devotional service, devotion is internal, isn't? And service is external. So when both are present together, that is authentic bhakti. I hope everybody got it. It's not action or intention, but both. So here in 9:13, devotional aspect is talked about. 9:14, next verse we will read. It's about service. So external aspect, external grows from internal. I made a little note here sometime back there. How is that small soul become great? There are so many verses. Jiva Shukha Sarupayam Sankatito Chitkana, Jiva Sukshma. We are so tiny, small. Now in this verse, he said, those soul connected with Krishna is great. So how the small soul becomes great? This verse explains how so a small soul becomes great. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakriti vasita bhajanti ananna manaso gyatta bhutadim abbayam. So we should meditate this verse. It's so sweet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, devotion is meant to be manifested not just on our lips, but also in our lives. There is a whole explanation to Sanatana Goswami Pad Mahaprabhu spoke. And he gave a very nice explanation. He said, when we practice, we must cultivate devotion for Krishna. We should always remember, we're chanting whose name? Krishna's name. We are taking rest to give the body rest. For what? For Krishna's pleasure. For Krishna's pleasure. So we have to be always conscious about it. We are honoring prasadam. For what? For Krishna's pleasure. How? Honoring prasadam is Krishna's pleasure. Because we are honoring prasadam to see how merciful Krishna, that he supply our maintenance and our hunger goes away, our strength comes back to serve him more. So like this, a meditation on everything that we do, how it is connected. This will become devotional service. So activities and devotional thought from inside. So we have some time. We could go one more. Would anyone like to read 14?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I try?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Mata. Yes, you can do.
Hare Krishna, devotees done with them. 9.14 Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantaschat Dradhavrataha Namasyantascha Mam Bhaktya Nitya Yukta Upasate. Satatam, always Kirtanaya, chanting, Mam, about me, Yatanta, fully endeavoring, Cha, also, Dhratavratha, with determination, Namasyatha, offering obeisances, Cha, and Mam, me, Bhaktya, in devotion, Nitya Yukta, perpetually engaged, Upasate, worship. Translation, always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Purport, the Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping an ordinary man. His symptoms are described here. A Mahatma is always engaged in chanting the glories of Supreme Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. He has no other business. He is always engaged in the glorification of the Lord. In other words, he is not an impersonalist. When the question of glorification is there, one has to glorify the Supreme Lord, praising his holy name, his eternal form, his transcendental qualities, and his uncommon pastimes. One has to glorify all these things. Therefore, a Mahatma is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who is attracted to the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, the Brahma Jyoti, is not described as Mahatma in Bhagavad Gita. He is described in a different way in the next verse. The Mahatma is always engaged in different activities of devotional service as described in Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing and chanting about Vishnu, not a demigod or human being. That is devotion. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, and Smaranam, remembering him. Such a Mahatma has firm determination to achieve at the ultimate end this association of the Supreme Lord is any one of the 5 transcendental rasas. To achieve that success, he engages all activities, mental, bodily, and vocal, everything in the service of Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. This is called full Krishna consciousness. In devotional service, there are certain activities which are called determined, such as fasting on certain days, like the 11th day of the moon, Ekadasi, and on the appearance day of the Lord. All these rules and regulations are offered by the great acharyas for those who are actually interested in getting admission into the association of Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental world. The Mahatmas, great souls, strictly observe all these rules and regulations, and therefore they are sure to achieve the desired result. As described in the second verse of this chapter, not only is this devotional service easy, but it can be performed in a happy mood. One does not need to undergo any severe penance and austerity. He can live this life in devotional service guided by an expert spiritual master and in any position, either as a householder or a sannyasi or a brahmachari, in any position and anywhere in the world, he can perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become actually Mahatma, a great soul.
Wonderful. It's a beautiful purport Prabhupada gave. Sadata kirtayanto mam jatantascha dhirabrata namasyantascha mam bhakta nitya jukta upasate. So word to word meaning or anvai. The word anvai is not exactly synonyms, means you break the sloka into 4 parts. So first is Satatam Kirtantumam. Satatam Kirtantumam means constantly, Satatam means always, every day or every moment. Kirtayantumam, glorifying me. Chanting means glorifying. Glorifying means I have to know his quality. I have to be attracted by the quality of God. Attributes. These 64 qualities, those are so beautiful. And then Krishna says, Jatantascha dhirabrata, endeavoring with determination. And if you so constantly glorify, you are endeavoring with determination, then what else you do? Namasyantascha. Namasyantascha. Mam, to me, they offer obeisances. Bhakta, with bhakti, with devotion. Nitya Jukta, that's how they are constantly engaged. Nitya. In this verse, we see twice Nitya. In the first line, Satatam Kirtantamam Chatantascha Dhirabrata. So in this way, Upasate, they worship. So worship doesn't mean only in the altar offering. When you are singing, that is also worshiping. When you are shopping, flower, fruits for cooking for God, that is also part of worshiping. Ramanujacharya explained that 5 process, abhigamam, sadhaya, like those who are reading, like right now, we are worshipping Krishna. This is also worship, study scriptures. So this is one of the important verses in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada quote this verse a lot, which endorses kirtan, means glorification of Lord. It can be done in various ways. You can have Krishna Katha, chanting, dancing, japa. These are all kirtan. Bhagavad Gita does not go in details of various spiritual paths, because for Arjuna, the point is not how to follow a path. The point is which path to follow. I hope everybody understood that. So here, Krishna is not talking so much how to follow the path. He is explaining or guiding Arjuna which path to follow. The verses like these refer to, I would say, explicit path of bhakti. 10th chapter, when we come, Chotusloki verse, also it will come the same similar thing. You will see it will be repeated. So if someone asks, where in Bhagavad Gita chanting of the holy name talked about? I don't know if anybody ever asked you or you ever thought. Where chanting holy name is mentioned? This is it. In 10th chapter also, Jagyanama, Jagyapi, among the various sacrifice, I am the sacrifice in doing japa. Directly said this. This verse also very powerful verse, I would say. Satata kirtantamam. It is talk about kirtan clearly. A strong describer, satatam, always you sing or glorify me. This is very similar to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu verse in Shikshastakam. Anyone would like to think? Similar. Almost similar. On the 3rd verse, Kirtaniya Sadahari. Mahaprabhu said the same thing. So this doesn't mean in this way like some devotee are having conversation and middle of conversation they are chanting. Especially if you do that with new people, it will be very irritating. I don't know if anyone has experienced that. I did. So we have to understand that kirtan can be of various way if we are discussing seriously with devotees. Something connected with Krishna, like management of various service, etc. This is also kirtan. During final days, Srila Prabhupada spent a lot of time with Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj. He told us, encouraging him to do scientific preaching. And Srila Prabhupada was very strong critic of scientific conception. So during that time, different devotees came and do a lot of kirtans for Srila Prabhupada. Sometime Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj would come and Srila Prabhupada will talk so much with him, with like intimately, so seeing this Tamal Krishna Maharaj, personal servant of Srila Prabhupada during that time, asked Srila Prabhupada, do you like to have some kirtan now? He sees Srila Prabhupada using a lot of energy. He's weak and exhausted. You know, he didn't eat for a month almost. So then Srila Prabhupada asked, what are you doing now? Do you think we are doing illicit sex now? He said just like that. This is also Kirtan, talking about preaching. Scientific method way. Srila Prabhupada wanted to drive home point emphatically that discussion related to service, Prabhus and mothers of Krishna, are also Kirtan. How to please Krishna, what you will cook that will make Krishna happy. What are you going to assist to Mother Jashoda to cooking? So those who are cooking in the kitchen, they are also doing Kirtan. Because they are thinking, absorbed in Krishna. The food has to turn out the best way so that Krishna will be happy. Of course, if we are always discussing practical thing, only like we have to do this festival, this program, distribute these books, if we are only doing management, then although that is also Kirtan, but we may not stay in conscious of Krishna. I hope you all are understanding where I'm going with that. So we also need to hear on regular basis Krishna Katha. That is directly Krishna Katha. That means it can be philosophy, it can be pastime, not connected to management. So Srila Prabhupada used to say, devotees in Krishna consciousness, they are trying to constantly serve Krishna in various ways. This will be discussed. In a multi-level, we practice Krishna consciousness. Even the arrangement by which Kirtan can be done is also Kirtan. Okay, I'm going to clean the temple, make all the floor, everything ready for the devotee to come and sing to glorify Krishna. Is that service not part of Kirtan? Yes, it is. Jatantascha dhriyabrata. My devotee endeavor with great determination. Now Krishna is talking about ananda manasa. The mind of those devotees are not distracted by anything else. Then what is the need of dhriyabrata? For us, we need dhriyabrata because our mind goes here and there. We don't feel like serving Krishna. So dhriyabrata is the way love is expressed. Love is we wanted to do wonderful things for the beloved. We will do challenging things. It is not that lover will search for the challenges, but whatever will please the lover. So we can see that Srila Prabhupada endeavors so much. Sometimes when we say Srila Prabhupada is empowered, that blinds us of the fact that Srila Prabhupada struggled a lot. Is it? I mean, literally, he struggled a lot. So what is empower means? Well, he was constantly trying to please the Lord. One of the success of Srila Prabhupada was that he was tirelessly hard worker. He will sleep just few hours at night, you all know. All day vigorously sharing Krishna consciousness with others. So although this world is in control of Krishna, still pure devotee has shown strong determination to overcome the obstacle of this world, which come in their way, which showcases their love for Krishna. In early days, we hear in America, Srila Prabhupada goes to the port and see that from here I can take a ship and go back to India. I mentioned this previously because this is in Lilamrita. If Srila Prabhupada would have done, we would have stayed in sensual life and a life away from Krishna. Honestly, I would be just a demoniac karmi, probably. So we are eternally grateful to Srila Prabhupada that he was Dhira Brata. This is the Dhira Brata meaning in this verse. So we also need to be Dhira Brata in our life. To the extent we do Kirtan enthusiastically, we will be Dhira Brata. Because Kirtan will give us higher taste. It will give us experience of the reality and beauty of Krishna consciousness. We do this, to be honestly. I mean, we're not falsely pride, but it's a fact. Whatever the obstacles are there, they are temporary. I am the soul. I wanted to attain spiritual level of consciousness. I will endeavor. This is the motto we should have all the time. The verse says, Namasyantascha mam bhakta. These people will offer obeisances. So Krishna is describing different form of devotional service. When Bhishmadev, in conversation with Krishna, he says, what a surprise, what a surprise. These Pandavas had a wonderful time. They are paying you obeisances. Then you took away everything from them. They are like pauper. They have nothing. They struggle so much, and they keep on paying obeisances more and more. What is this? Even Bhishmadev was surprised that how they are dhiraprata, steady. Nitya yukta upasate. Externally, mind is constantly engaged, and in previous bars, internally mind is not deviated. So these two bars are very nice. I hope we all got some of it. I mean, you can ask yourself, why should Krishna get less from us than what our boss gets? If you're working. I mean, somebody literally told me that. My boss gets more of me than Krishna. I said, that's not good. When we practice Krishna consciousness, we may feel, I have too much service to do. Why am I being stretched so much? Take it easy. What is take it easy means? Giving more to the Karmi boss than the Krishna boss? We have to cover that we are working for Krishna's family. This connection need require awakening. Then everything you do for Krishna. But frequently our mind may be justifying its laziness, its tendency to choose the path of least resistance. Our lethargy mind also complains, isn't it, about our office workload? Maybe you all are transcendental now, you don't see that. But there are many devotees in the beginning stage, they complain. So in spite of its complaint, we persevere at work, knowing that our job is a matter of our livelihood. And this family member, they are all devotees. I must maintain those devotees, Krishna's family. But we often treat our spiritual life as an optional activity to be done when it feels good, and to be abandoned when it does not. But such feeling-based practice of bhakti keeps us spiritually underdeveloped. Why? Because bhakti centered on developing a loving relationship with Krishna. So whatever job, whatever family pressure, whatever we have, whatever ashram you are, always connect with Krishna. Because everything is connected with Krishna, but it's required to develop that vision. Every serious relationship requires firm commitment that is not swayed by fickle sentiment, isn't it? Ardently, Bhagavad Gita 9:14 recommends that we serve Krishna determinedly. That is without quitting because of obstacles. To assess our situation honestly, we can consider our response in a similar professional situation. We should do a feeling-based practice of bhakti, keeping us spiritually, otherwise underdeveloped. We should think that. How can we know if we really have too much service or if our mind is misleading us? We should ask that question. We should also ask when we stretch ourselves for Krishna. how does he reward us? If we keep on thinking like this, you will find satisfaction. Because Krishna reveals his all attractiveness and he helps us becoming lovingly absorbed in him. Thereby fulfilling eternally our deepest needs for unending love, both in this world and beyond it too. Any takeaway, Prabhus and Mothers?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I just want to mention 2 sentences. As you rightly mentioned, text 13 and 14 are literally what exactly ISKCON is ISKCON rules and regulations are in the purport also. It's end of the purport also. It's mentioned here in 914. All these rules and regulations are offered by the great acharyas of those who are actually interested in getting admission into the association of. It would be understood only for the people who are really interested in knowing about what exactly are these rules and regulations are, and when we follow, and literally it's Krishna who's saying it. If you follow these, then it's so. ISKCON
Very
is
good.
following
Very good.
exactly this.
Yeah, very good. You picked up a very good bullet point, you can say. Yeah, very nice. Thank you so much. Any other? Or we will be looking for you all next Wednesday with text 15, 9:15. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpataruvesya kripa sindhaveva. Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Srila Prabhupada ki